All right, here we are for our first game, and I realized right away, as soon as I went back and watched the intro, that I missed a great opportunity for a pun, in that I should have said that Snowgo won in Avalanche, so I'm sorry about that. I'll really try to pick it up in the future. So this hand's obviously a mulligan, no lands, and this hand's okay, it's pretty good. Sproutsworm's kind of a dead card until pretty late in the game, but that's okay. We're not going to get rid of a 2-land hand with a Brainstorm and another card draw spell. I am going to leave this land on top, but hopefully we're not against any deck that plays too fast. Alright, start off with an island. Pass the turn. Alright, our opponent is on Delver, so we have a pretty bad hand against Delver right now. So we'll see how this shakes out. We don't have any removal, and we're just not in a good spot yet. So hopefully this Delver doesn't flip, otherwise we'll be in big trouble. Okay, so far so good. Now we also have to hope to dodge a Spellstarter Sprite, dodge any ninjas, and it looks like he doesn't have a ninja at least. Okay, so it looks like we're against some kind of blue-black Delver deck. Normally this is some kind of Gurmag Angler deck. Could also be something playing Forbidden Alchemy, but I would guess we're against an Angler Delver list. So, alright, so I'm gonna I have to decide if I want to kill this right now while I can, and I think I will. The only thing I'd be really scared to counter is, well, no, change my mind. Since I have enough snowlands to kill this even if it flips, I'm just gonna let it go. Really don't want them to play an Eldrazi Sky Spawner. I mean, that's the really big thing I want to hold up my counterspell for. If I scred this guy and they get an Eldrazi Sky Spawner down, I'm gonna be in big trouble. Alright, he's coming in with his Delver again. I could use the Sprout Swarm right now to trade with this guy, and that might be not a terrible idea, but again, I want to hold up this counterspell for potential Sky Spawner especially. If our opponent just plays an island and passes, I'm just going to Brainstorm. Okay, it looks like our opponent F6'd, which means that I'm going to quick fire off this Scred right here because I think he's not paying attention. Yep, we got it. So, you might notice I put that Sprout Swarm on top. That's not a card I want until the very end of the game. I should have maybe spent a little more time talking about that. This Rewind is going to be pretty decent against this deck, and I'm going to get rid of that Sprout Swarm. I don't really want it, so I'm going to Teachings it away. We got a couple options here. I think right now, since I have 2 counter spells up, I'm going to grab an Accumulated Knowledge to get some more cards. All right, let's toss out this mountain, pass the turn again. Okay, so this deck's playing Radiant Fountain, which I don't think they normally played, and our opponent hasn't been playing really anything at all that would make me think they're Angler Delver. I mean, normally they've got all kinds of stuff that would make me think they're Angler Delver. Normally they play, obviously they play a full set of cantrips, but normally they've got Thought Scours, they've got Mental Note, they've got just a ton of, they normally Brainstorm too, like they have a ton of cantrips, so I don't know what kind of hand our opponent kept that only had a Delver on turn 1 and then nothing else, but they've been, they haven't been playing much. We're really lucky they'll tap out for a Gurmag Angler right here and we can exclude it. Alright, an Evoked Mulldrifter. Normally I wouldn't really care about this, but I'd really like to get this exclude out of our hands, so I'll quick toss that out there. Okay, we drew this Sprout Storm again, which I really didn't want. I'm gonna grab a swamp with this so we can flash back our teachings. Alright, we drew another accumulated knowledge, and I'm actually gonna take this opportunity to just draw right now. It'll put us to 7 cards, and draw 3 is really strong. We'll still have rewind and counterspell up, and even if they resolve something, they don't have anything that I care that much about, so I'm just going to fire that off right away. It might be better to wait on that, but again, I kind of got the read on this guy. He's not playing anything, so and I'm also not going to play anything, so we'll just keep on keeping on. I'm probably not going to play Sprout Swarm unless they tap out until they're basically down to until I can counter every possible counterspell they could have. And I'm also not flashing this back because right now I have 7 cards. I don't want to discard. I'm hitting land drops. We're in a control mirror. I'm going to win if he keeps missing land drops. It's going up to 7 here. And I'm going to be sitting pretty with a big stack of lands on him. Here, we drew another exclude. That's good. I'll fire that off on the first creature we see. Getting to the point where he's going to have to discard, and that's cool with me. I'm not doing anything with my mana if he's not gonna. We've come to the really fun part of the game where both of us sit here doing nothing for a long time. So he's ready to fire off a spell, and I'm ready to exclude it. He's gonna try to counter, and yeah, I'm gonna rewind. Nothing too crazy here. Tap all my blue mana. Draw our card. That's cool. So now that he can't counter the Sprout Swarm, I am gonna fire it off. Alright, here we go. Commence the beatdowns. 22 more turns. Down to 21 turns. So our opponent's going to have to keep firing off spells, or they're going to have to discard. Yeah, go ahead. I'm not gonna cast anything into their open mana. Keep attacking. I'm winning on the board. Oh no. Alright. Obviously I'm not gonna save that guy. It's pretty meaningless to me. I'm not worried about him. So as you can see, we're running pretty low on lands in the deck. We've only got 1 more fetchable land. And at this point, I'm pretty sure I can cast Sprout Swarm and all 3 of these. So I could count that up. So 8. Yep, so I think next turn I will start, at the end of his turn, this turn I'm going to start firing off some Sprout Swarms. The only way I won't is if our opponent is still stuck on 8 cards. If our opponent's going to be discarding, I'm not firing off the Sprout Swarm. Alright, here our opponent goes again, and sure, if they want to play a Muldrifter, they want to go up to 9 cards instead of just 8, that's fine with me. I'm not worried about that. Delver, I'm going to let that happen too. Don't care about Delver. Really lucky to play a Sky Spawner. Nope, not a Sky Spawner. I don't really care about this Seagate Oracle either. What I think I'm maybe going to do is let this resolve, and then I'll overload Electrickery and cast Magma Spray on this Delver. And we'll see how that goes. If he doesn't hit a land in these top 2, he's going to have to discard again. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, looks like he missed, so let's quick kill both of these guys. Good thing about Magma Spray is you can't get it back with Reaping the Graves or whatever type of thing he's going to be trying to do. Alright, now is the perfect time to flashback our teachings. We're getting a little... Oh, and I misclicked. So that happened. Hopefully we can still win here. It shouldn't be a problem, but that was a pretty big mistake. I thought I had to tap one more mana and then Spellstutter Sprite popped up right in front of me. Luckily we're pretty far ahead, so we should be able to take this guy down anyways. Yeah, Archaeomancer, that one's worth a rewind. That gets back Counterspell, which is really kind of the only important card in our opponent's deck at this point, are the counterspells. Alright, let's get sprouting. Our opponent F6'd again. Remember, if you're playing competitively and you have mana up, you shouldn't F6. Because I wouldn't go for this one right here, this last one, if I thought, you know, maybe he's got Spell Pierce or something. Be a little too dangerous. Alright, 7-turn clock, here we go. Saproling Beatdown. I'm saving this Pulse of Marasa for, I'm probably going to eventually Spell Stutter something. So here's a tough spot. This card doesn't really matter since we have these Saprolings, so I am going to let him keep it. These two counterspells are precious for protecting our Sprout Swarm. Going back to that turn when I accidentally grabbed the Spell Stutter, I was going to grab another Teachings, and we had 5 mana up, so I could have cast Teachings again. So, pretty unfortunate. Looks like our opponent did an F6 this turn. So, I'm only going to... This will probably be the last one of these. I don't think they would have any way to cast 2 counterspells here, so I think I will run one more out there. We have just enough mana to still hold up our counterspell. Alright, looks like they're going to cast Echoing Decay. That's okay, I'm not worried about that. I'll make more. Alright, here we go. This is just what we want to brainstorm. We can get rid of some of these bad cards. Hopefully we'll draw something to shuffle with. And we did. I kind of want to shuffle away this Spell Stutter that I tutored for. And I think the Pulse of Marasa is going away too. So, play that. We'll just pass the turn again. Got this Scred up in case he's playing some weird deck with a the Ninja in it. I don't think so. I think we're playing against probably a Flicker deck at this point. Okay, our opponent is too scared. Too scared of the Swarm. I don't blame him. So here I can't hold up 2 counterspells. Well, I can hold up 2 counterspells, but I can't hold up my Rewind with it. I'm going to cast just one more so I can hold up double counterspell. And that's it. So our opponent probably thinks we still have that Spell Stutter in our hand since I went to all that trouble of tutoring it up. But I don't, because that card's not very good right here. This deck doesn't play a ton of 1-drops. It's got the Preordains. There probably is 2 more, but I'm not willing to keep that card in my hand just for that. Okay, edicting away some Saprolings, that's fine. It's possible I should have cast a Sprout Swarm there just to get the 1 extra mana. Playing a little loose, probably should have counted up to see exactly what we were dealing with there. But that's okay. So again, our opponent has double blue up. So they decided to just cast the counterspell. Let's go with a rewind here, actually. I've got enough mana for all of them, and I'd like to get this rewind out of my hand. It's just so expensive compared to a regular counterspell. Okay, got the Sprout Swarm back. Yeah, now I've got double counterspell up. Seemed like our opponent f6 there, but I'm still not going to mess around with that. Sprout Swarm is a little too important to the deck. I'm gonna have to start playing a little bit faster. As you can see, I'm pretty far behind on time on my opponent. So now that we drew this Teachings, there's basically no way that we can lose at this point. Just gonna toss it out there. I'm gonna grab another Teachings. I'm gonna scred this Seagate Oracle, get him out of the way. If he wants to Ghostly Flicker it, I'll probably just scred it again. Opponent's in the tank. If they want to gain 2 life or not, they can have the 2 life, but I'm not going to let them have the card. At this point, I'm just trying to close out the game. I've got a huge advantage on my opponent, and there's pretty much nothing they can do about it. They've already gone through 2 counter spells, and they don't usually play a Deprive or any extra counter spells. Even if they did, I've got 2 here, plus I got this Teachings for another one. One thing to remember with this deck is you should always try to tap your Saprolings first. Yeah. Counterspell your counterspell. Alright. And we got just enough mana to flash back this Teachings, so I'm going to do that. It's okay with me if they have another Echoing Decay and they really want to kill my Saprolings again. They aren't that important. I mean, I've still got the card. The card is what matters, not the creatures on the board. If I were a little lower on time, that might be something I would worry about, but not worried about it right here. With this Teachings, I'm going to grab Accumulated Knowledge. Pretty tough to deal with, a 2 mana draw 4. So it looks like we're getting Echoing Decay again, which is a little annoying, but again, they're down to 3 cards. We're about to be at 7 with Teachings in play. They just can't do anything. There's no way they're coming back. Barring another horrible misclick, I don't think we could lose this game if we tried. I'm going to run that out there, and then I'm going to toss out this Accumulated Knowledge. Alright, we drew some stuff, including a Shuffle effect. Not that we needed it. So let's quick brainstorm. We are, I believe, out of fetchable lands in our deck entirely, so I'm going to put back this Scred and this Ash Barrens. And here we've got 8 mana plus this little guy, which means that I have enough to counter twice again, and I have 2 counter spells in my hand, so that's cool. Let's get a second one out there. Alright, and I could Teachings for something, it just doesn't matter. They're going to cast Reaping the Graves. That would be kind of annoying, but I've got so many counter spells. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to be able to counter all these creatures when they come down. And I could counter some of these Reaping the Grave copies, but I'd rather just counter the creatures. Opponent's trying to figure out what to target with all their storm copies. Looks like they're getting a Muldrifter with that one, a Seagate Oracle, another Seagate Oracle, a Muldrifter, and an Archaeomancer. So they got a full hand of 7, but you know, we've got 8, so we're in pretty good shape ourselves. Just gonna play this. Let's get to attacking. I don't really want to discard, so I'm just gonna play this out. I should have probably played it at the end of last turn. They have an exclude. That's okay. I don't mind that. Let's see what they try to play. Let's see, get Oracle first. It's the worst one, but we're gonna probably counter all of them, so might as well counter that one. This Seagate Oracle I'm gonna let happen. Now that I drew this Scred, I'm not worried about it. I do have to be careful. I'm running a little low on time, especially if we go to 3 games. I'm gonna be struggling a little bit. Alright, Muldrifter. We'll just rewind that. Okay, looks like our opponent is F6, which is nice. We'll Scred this guy so you can commence the beatdowns. Alright, so our opponent's going to try to cast some Muldrifters and stuff. I'm going to memory lapse the first one. Muldrifter costs so much mana that I want them to spend half their mana next turn playing it too. And the one that I really don't want them to resolve is the Archaeomancer anyway. Sure. Let's actually teachings. To be honest, I don't know exactly what we all have left in here, but I'm sure we've got some good stuff. Yeah, let's memory lapse that too. Could have gotten exclude there, but I'd rather put another card on top. There's the Delver. One trick I could do, see if I have enough mana for it. I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is 10 is enough for this play. So let's do it. Little teachings for Pulsa Marasa. Pulsa Marasa back our Spell Stutter Sprite. And we'll Spell Stutter Sprite this Delver. Alright, now we got one more attacker, which is good. So our opponent's drawing Muldrifter here, which we're just going to exclude. There we go. And then we'll memory lapse the Archaeomancer when they play it, right here. No, they decided against it. They want to play Chainer's Edict, which, that's cool. Are they going to try to sneak an Archaeomancer in here? A Doomblade. That's cool too. So, our opponent is definitely just trying to time us out at this point. They can't possibly win this game. It's a really bad matchup for them. They probably can't win next game either. Alright, so they're going to play this Muldrifter, and honestly the Muldrifter doesn't matter, but I know their cards, so I'm just going to counter this one. Then I'll counter the Archaeomancer. And that's that. They are dead. Alright, cool, so that's game 1. As you can see, I used over half the time for game 1, so probably going to try talking a little less and playing a little tighter, a little faster game 2. So We're gonna want these Pyroblasts. Capsize is okay, we'll see if we have room for it. Spell Stutter gets a little better post board because they're gonna have Dispels, and Spell Stutter is really good against Dispel. Not only does it counter it, it also can't be countered by Dispel, so that's a big deal. Out of them, I'm expecting Stormbound guys, so I am gonna leave this Magma Spray in. Electrickery, again, if they are on an Eldrazi Sky Spawner kind of plan, Electrickery is kind of what we want. I didn't see any rats out of them or any black creatures at all. I didn't see any Gurmag Anglers or anything, so I don't know exactly what they're doing, but it doesn't look quite like normal. In this kind of matchup, I'm going to take out 2 Rewinds. I almost always take out some Rewinds. They're just so slow, and especially when they can counter with a 1-mana Dispel, that's not really where I want to be. And Pyroblast counters the stuff that I want to rewind anyway, so let's do that. Let's make that swap. I'm going to take out 1 Scred for sure, especially since I didn't see any Gurmag Anglers. I'm actually going to take out 2. Electrickery can still take out 2 creatures at once, and Magma Spray is good against Stormbound guys, which I definitely expect them to bring in. So I've got room for 1 more card. At this point, it's going to be the Spell Stutter Sprite. I don't think there's anything else I really want to take out. They do still have a lot of creatures, and I especially want to counter those creatures, so Exclude is great. And Prohibit, they don't have business spells that I want to counter with this, but it still counters a counter spell. It still counters a Dispel, so I'm going to keep that in. And I think we're going to stick with this. If I don't see any good targets for Electrickery this game, I might take it out next game, but for now I'm going to leave it in. I really don't want to get beaten down by an Eldrazi Sky Spawner, because especially since I can't Pyroblast that, I'm stuck. If that resolves, I've only got these 3, so these 4 spells, so can't take out too many of them. Alright, here we go. This hand's pretty good. Got a Brainstorm and a Shuffle effect. I'm going to shuffle away this Sprout Swarm almost for sure. Alright, I'm going to keep. Opponent kept also. They've got Delver, of course. Best possible start against us, so why wouldn't they have it, right? Let's see if they can flip it. They couldn't flip it last game, and they can't this game either, so. Alright, they got nothing going on here. So this turn I'm going to Brainstorm. I'm going to put the Sprout Swarm on top, and then it doesn't really matter what else, because I want to keep all the rest of these cards, it looks like. Yeah, they're all pretty good. And then I'm going to shuffle away the Sprout Swarm to get this mountain. I'm going to Pyroblast down this Delver. Of course I gotta play that mountain. Okay, so hopefully they don't play a Sky Spawner here. That's kind of what I was worried about last game. Stormbound Geist would be a little annoying too. Mulldrifter is not annoying. I love that happened. Alright, so I'm gonna play this island, hold up Exclude. If we get really lucky, they'll play something right into it. I don't anticipate that happening. They also might play something into our Spell Stutter Sprite, or they might play nothing. Alright, we're gonna go get I'm gonna get another island with this one. And then I'm gonna get a swamp with this Terramorphic Expanse eventually. Hopefully they just play basic and tap out for a Mulldrifter. Nope, they're playing a Seagate Oracle, so I'm gonna rewind this, and they're gonna counter my rewind, and that's okay. I just want to make sure I resolve this Exclude for sure. This guy's a pretty slow clock. I'm not too worried about him at this point. So if we get really lucky, they'll play a land, and they'll play a Mulldrifter with 1 mana up, hoping to Dispel, and then we'll get to Spell Stutter Sprite it too. Alright, they can't decide what to play. The play is available to them. They've got the 6 mana for Muldrifter plus Dispel. Alright, I'm gonna spell stutter this. Hopefully they'll counter it, and then I can exclude the Delver. Nope. Oh, they've got a removal spell that should certainly not still be in their deck. But that's okay. Let's see if we can exclude this guy. Alright, that worked. So we're in a much better spot than we were last turn. I'm going to play a basic so I can hold up Teachings plus Sprite. Bojuka Bog for no value. I don't know if that's really what you want to do against my deck, but sometimes you gotta just play your land drops. So Deep Analysis is pretty annoying, but I'll let them have it. It's possible I should have Teachings in response. Yeah. So here I'm going to get Accumulated Knowledge, I think. No, I should probably just get a Counterspell. It's possible I should just get another Teachings. Yeah, let's do that. And then let's grab that Swamp so we can flash this guy back. One option that was available to us last turn was Teachings for Memory Lapse, and that's usually pretty good against flashback spells because it puts them on top instead. Alright, here comes a Muldrifter, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to counter it, I bet. But let's find out. Ooh, they're going to let this resolve. But they kind of made it look like they've got a Dispel. So I'm going to go with this Pyroblast. Hopefully they're on Dispel exactly. Yep. And then hopefully they don't have a counter for this. Well, they've got it all, so sometimes your opponent's got it all. The Deep Analysis was really bad for us. So it's possible I should flashback this Teachings right now just so I can be sure to resolve it. We've kind of got nothing going on though, so we'll just pass the turn. Alright, well, basically we're on prayer mode here. Hopefully we can counter this. When this doesn't work, we're going to be basically dead, so can probably concede at this point. Yeah, I'm just going to concede. We're way down on time, so don't want to waste too much of it there. So you can see why Rewind would have been terrible there. They've got a bunch of Dispels and stuff. I didn't see any reason to keep in this Electrickery, so that's coming out. I think I'm going to bring back, well, I'm going to bring in another Spell Stutter. The more you have of these, sometimes if, man, they kept in the removal though, that really makes me want to take these out. Removal is just so bad against us. Yeah, I'm not, they want to have Doomblade in their deck, I'm not letting that slide. That's just a really bad decision. I'm going to bring in this Capsize, I think. Either that or another Scred. You guys have to let me know in the comments what you think I should do, if I should be keeping in some more of these removal spells. Now that we're on the play, we should be able to keep them off of more creatures. Let's go with the Scred instead of the Capsize. I already got a Scred for a Delver. We got a Counterspell, sort of, for the next thing. This looks pretty good to start. Opponent mulligans. Let's see what they do with their mulligan. Put it on the bottom. Alright. If they lead off with a Delver again here, I'll just spread it. Okay, preordained's fine. So there's a lot of dead air here, guys. There's not a lot going on while they're preordaining. Let's see what they did. They put them one on top, one on the bottom. Alright, a Relic of Progenitus. That's pretty annoying for us. Don't really want to memory lapse it. I will though. No, they can have it. It's going to make our accumulated knowledges really bad. Alright, they cycled Barrenmore into turn. Alright, so we picked up a Rewind, which is nice because we're going to be able to rewind the Seagate Oracle here. And if they're missing a land, they're going to be in big trouble. Yeah, sure, you can have my Rewind. So, I'm going to Teachings here. And I want Teachings for something that I can play. And I don't mind if one copy gets relicked away. So, I'm going to go ahead and grab a Brainstorm. It's not the greatest use of Teachings, but I really want to get this Brainstorm into the graveyard. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to toss 2 of these Screds away, play this island. I'm going to set a stop my upkeep because I really don't want to draw those Screds. So our opponent missed a land drop, and if they're going to miss another one, it's getting to be pretty greedy not using this to draw a card. Alright, so I'm going to use Teachings. They're probably going to be considering popping that relic, so I'm going to grab another Teachings. I just really wanted to shuffle there, and I think they're going to pop this here. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to grab another Teachings. It sucks to lose 2 of them, but I don't have the black mana yet anyways, and so here we are. So they hit their 4th land, which is a little unfortunate. Looking back on that, I really wish I would have memory lapsed that relic because they missed a bunch of land drops. So there you go, I got this Teachings. Just grab an accumulated knowledge with this one. I want to draw some lands, so accumulated knowledge is the only way to search for a card that does that other than getting a Brainstorm. Preordained's fine. So if our opponent taps out for something, we'll Rewind and Sprout Swarm. I'll just counter that guy. Cremate. Wow. I'm gonna memory lapse that. It is a little annoying that they're gonna get to draw it next turn, but hopefully we can draw black mana and save that guy from our graveyard. Alright, memory lapse means that we can counter that Cremate again. Alright, put the Seagate Oracle on top. We're going to try to Cremate again, and I'm going to counter it. Normally I wouldn't care too much about it, but I really want to draw that swamp. Alright, that's not a swamp. So, we'll Pyroblast that. I don't think they have a Dispel, so let's run out a token. Nice. Token beats. Awesome, we lucked out here. Perfect. Now we can get our swamp out of here. Let's see what our opponent's got this time. We have one more Pyroblast in our deck, so if they play another Muldrifter, we'll go and get that. This Archaeomancer can only get a Cremate or a Preordain, and I don't care about either of those things very much. The Cremate's a little annoying, but it was just going to hit this Teachings that I'm planning to cast anyways, so I'm not too scared of it at this point. Looks like our opponent's coming to a similar conclusion that neither of those cards matter very much, so we're going to grab their Preordain. I'm going to Teachings in response to this because I really want to resolve this Teachings. And I'm going to grab another Teachings. Let's see what they do with it. Bottom and top. So they got something. Let's spread this guy. They didn't have Ghostly Flicker up, so I felt like that was a good time to do that. Alright. Get in for 2. Hopefully our opponent's hand is just full of Doomblades and other bad cards that they shouldn't have in their deck. Alright, let's Teachings. They're probably going to counter this, but whatever. Let's get greedy. We'll go for the full Exclude. I wouldn't bet on this happening since they preordained something to the top and they knew they were doing this, but not much we could have done differently. Could have gotten just Counterspell and then held up Brainstorm, try to get Pyroblast, and maybe that was the play, but I felt like being a little greedier than that. Let's put those back, and then in upkeep I'm going to Teachings. Really don't want to draw those again, so I'm going to grab just straight up Counterspell. Alright, we'll pass the turn. Alright, opponent passes back. I'm just going to pass again here. I'm going to play this. If they want to spend 2 Counterspells on it, okay, looks like they F6'd again. Again, they let me make an extra Zeppelin there by F6ing, so don't do that. Don't do that when you have mana up and you're playing a Counterspell deck. So the reason I'm not cracking this is I want to save it for this Brainstorm. Get another F6. I'm just going to play that. And I don't think it's quite time to start attacking. I think next turn I will. All right. We have a lot of counter spells up at this point. By that I mean we have 2, so 2 is plenty for us. Alright, let's get in with 7 of these guys. We'll play that Echoing Decay, and I'm actually going to counter it simply because I'm gonna time out if I have to keep making Saplings over and over. But if time weren't an issue, this would not be something I would counter. Another Echoing Decay, so I'm gonna quick, well, no. Alright. You win Echoing Decay. Their opponent's down to 1 card, so as you can see, we would be very hard pressed to lose this game, most likely, if we weren't going to run out of time. I don't think they have any more counter spells, but if they do, we're in big trouble. But I can't just sit here anymore. We're also representing a counter spell, so you gonna Doomblade this guy? Yeah, sure. Hope your hand's full of Doomblades. We're gonna put back this Pulsa Marasa, and then this land. Shuffle. I'm gonna grab another island. Ideally, we'd find an actual, find our creature, and find our battlefield scrounger, but this is just how it is, I guess. Okay, looks like they found the counter spell, which is really bad for us. This is a game we probably would have won if time weren't an issue. Alright, I found the scrounger. I'm gonna wait one more turn. Hopefully this is a creature. Oh man. That's pretty much the perfect draw for them. I'm gonna let it resolve. Hopefully they draw a bunch of junk. Sure, I'll exclude that guy. Okay. So we're pretty much just stuck jamming here. It'd be pretty annoyed if they still have something like exclude in their deck and they hit me with it here. Alright. Good for now. Again, if time weren't an issue and they tried to kill this guy, I wouldn't worry about it, but time is an issue, unfortunately. Alright, let's tag with this guy. Okay. Put our draw spells and counter spells back in the deck. We're gonna pump them. Our opponent's gonna Doomblade or something. Yeah, they're gonna flicker them. I'm gonna spread one of them, and we're gonna lose. So that's a shame. I'm gonna have to get a little bit better at managing my time while I'm recording for you guys. But we almost certainly are gonna lose right here. This game is pretty much over. Normally I would have still had that Sprout Swarm in my hand. I would have never been casting it into all this open mana and stuff. So I'm going to put back the Sprout Swarm, some other stuff. And we got pretty flooded right at the end here too. That's like 3 or 4 lands in the last couple. Alright, our opponent thinks that gaining 2 life is something that matters, so that's what they're doing. Hey, counterspell right on time. I'm just gonna let him screw around with flickering and whatnot. I'm gonna fight till the end, you know? If I'd have played a little bit faster, I could have probably had them a little bit shorter time at this point. I normally play pretty fast, so I think that it's possible that I would have had more time than this opponent at this point in the game if I weren't playing and recording. Okay, we got a brainstorm. Should have kept some of those lands in my hand earlier. Oh, look at that. I guess it doesn't matter much. I'm gonna cycle this, even though we can't get anything with it. Okay, our opponent missed. Another brainstorm. Sure. I don't know, depending on what they have in their hand, we might have still had a chance this game if I weren't out of time. I think I'm having some issues. My computer's a little laggy. I'd recommend turning off the video at this point, going to the next one, getting some food, a snack, going to the bathroom. But I'm going to fight it till the bitter end. If they want to keep gaining 2 life over and over, be my guest. Here we get to the great part of Magic Online where it asks me if I want to block, even though I don't have any creatures. Right now we're just on a total F6 mode. They can keep drawing their whole deck. That's cool with me. Oh yeah. The scumbag relic. That's okay. It's not really a scumbag at this point. I'm the one who's making him kill me all the way. Oh yeah, down to 0. Click, 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 click. Still at 0. He did it. He killed me with damage before I timed out. Alright, I'll work on playing a little faster next round for you guys, and I'll see you there.